Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be walking through a pristine autumn woodland with the hope of capturing a couple of woodland photos. During the video we'll be talking about what pro landscape photographers do to ensure they capture the very best images. Some beautiful colours down here today, guys, absolutely stunning in this pristine woodland, not a soul in sight, and no wind, no rain for a change. I'm hopeful of capturing a couple of images today. And on the way, we'll talk about what pro landscape photographers do to ensure they capture the best photos. Let's see what we can find. Let's start at the beginning with planning your shoot. And how far you wish to take this is very much down to the individual. So a few websites or apps I use are Google Earth, that's great for finding new locations. OS Maps is also fantastic for finding new trails through woodlands like this. That's really helpful. You can also download maps onto there, so if you don't have any signal, you can still view your position and follow your trails. That's fantastic. I use OS Maps all of the time. Also, the photographer's ephemeris is great for predicting where the sun may rise at a given location at a certain time of the year. I use that all the time. And Photopills is also a great app as well. There's heaps of tools on there that are very helpful for the landscape photographer. Anyway, this area behind me is a fantastic spot. I've shot this before from up here. Wasn't particularly happy with the image, but I'm going to walk down to the bottom and see if I can come up with an image maybe looking at these two old mossy oak trees. They look amazing and they're backlit at the minute, so that might be quite nice. So let's go see if we can find something down there. I've been up and down this pathway about 10 times now, trying to figure out how I can get a composition here. There's so many trees in the way of the subjects that I want to shoot, it's quite difficult. So I've opted to put the telephoto lens on, get down low so I can get underneath all these overhanging branches and just shoot a single oak tree that's absolutely beautiful, being backlit, some wonderful mosses on it. The colours behind it are fantastic. We've got some purple hues of silver birch, got these wonderful splatterings of yellow from beech, birch and also the oak trees. We've got these wonderful bluish hues in the foreground from the brambles, which frame the image quite well, and we've got a strong diagonal going from right to left as the oak tree sweeps through the frame with its twisty branches. Looks beautiful. So I've got the polarizer on, just about to set my tripod up nice and low on this very wet and slippery embankment. See if I can get a good purchase here with my spikes, something nice and solid. Try not to get a wet bottom. 3 seconds, no movement in any of the leaves at all. It's completely still today. f8 ISO 125, about 80mm on the 5140 lens. So I'm focusing on the oak tree. 2 second timer. Take the shot. So one thing that great photographers do that many of us struggle with, myself included, is reacting to the conditions and making the most out of those conditions as the conditions change. Now, just last week, in my video last week, there was an amazing rainbow happening right behind me, but I was shooting sunset. I was completely focused on that. And this rainbow looked fantastic. I saw it and I thought, no, I'm not going to shoot it. I'm just going to continue shooting the sunset. I've got everything set up. I was taking multiple exposures. Now, I missed the shot. I didn't get the rainbow. I did manage to get a lovely sunset shot. But when I got back, I thought to myself, My vlogging tripod and camera, which I'm using now to film this, was sat there doing nothing. I could have quite easily grabbed that, set it up, took a shot of the rainbow and captured that moment. But I failed to react and I didn't get the shot, and I'm still kicking myself now about missing that. It's now just a fading memory. So, reacting to the conditions is key to getting the most out of your photography. I am going to have to put you guys down now as I navigate this really dodgy little bit of terrain here. We've got a fallen tree, so the path has been redirected. So I'm going to put you down before I land on my backside. So as much as planning your shoot will give you the best possible chance of success, I would advise leaving preconceived ideas of particular shots behind. Now, I'm guilty of this myself, often going out with an idea in mind but then coming away empty-handed and often disappointed. So going out with an open mind often yields a much greater chance of capturing a nice image. So when you're planning your landscape photography route, your journey, your expedition, consider doing a linear route as opposed to a circular route. If you do a linear route, a journey out and a journey back along the same path, you've got the opportunity to see the scene from different angles. Quite often on a circular route, you'll walk past something, completely not notice it's there. I know this because when I'm filming these vlogs and I've got the camera pointing towards me, I often see scenes that are behind me that I just didn't see when I was out in the field. With a linear route, you get the option of seeing that scene as you walk back the other way. Quite often the lighting conditions will change too, meaning some scenes won't be shootable on your way out, but will be on their way back. So that's exactly what I've done here. When I passed this scene initially, the light was coming through the trees and it was very, very harsh indeed. I've walked about half a mile and returned to this scene, which I thought might have potential, and the light's a lot flatter now. The sun is dipped down behind the hillside in the back there, and that's offering a much more flatter scene in terms of the lighting. It's much easier to expose for and control the contrast. Got this wonderful leaf litter down here in the foreground, a babbling brook in the midground, and a fern which is beautifully lush and green with splashes of autumn foliage dotted around it. Got these two overhanging trees. The one in the foreground is a beech, the one behind it looks like it's a dead oak with some ivy growing up it which has still got its green foliage. Lots of mosses hanging onto these trees as well, and the lighting is slightly from the side but from the back, which is nice. It gives that very three-dimensional feel to the trees. So lots of colour, lots of different textures going on here. I think it's a scene that looks great on the back of the camera. Hopefully it will when I get it back to post-processing. So I do have a circular polarizer on the front as well, which is helping to increase the saturation in the image and just help to control those reflections on the foliage too, and cut down the glare on the brook at the bottom. 1 1/3 seconds actually allows the movement in the water to be a little bit more smoother and less distracting, which for this shot I think works okay. So 2-second timer is on. I've gone for a 4:3 crop on the back of the camera to try to eliminate the sky and some of this dead space in the foreground. So yes, 2-second timer on, focusing on the beech tree on the right hand side. So another thing that all great landscape photographers do is scouting. Now I am always out scouting new locations, whether that be with my wife when we're walking the dogs, out with my children at the weekend, just duck under here, or when I'm out actually shooting landscapes like I am now. Now on my PC I have a folder named Scouting, and in that folder I put subfolders of the locations and a date. So today put the location of this woodland down, and any test shots I've taken that I think might make a good image I put in there, and I number those images from 1 to 10 for example. Now I also make a Word document with the same number that's relevant to that photo, if that makes sense, and I put in that Word document some information, maybe what lighting it might work well in, what time of year, what conditions, etc. And that gives me an idea of what to look for when I return. Now I guess this slightly contradicts what I mentioned earlier about going out without any preconceived ideas. However, building up knowledge of a particular area is very, very valuable for getting the best from your landscape photography. Whew, it's wet down here. In order to progress as a landscape photographer, you need to enjoy the process as a whole. Enjoy the search as much as the finished image. If you come home empty-handed, which can often be the case, look back on the day with a positive mind. Focus on the things you saw, the exercise you had, and the things you learned. There's always some positives to take away, even on the most miserable of days. If we only judge our day of photography by the outcome of the photograph, it can become easy to feel frustrated and uninspired and lack inspiration to go out and shoot again. Now, it's worth mentioning that great photographers only get great through hard work and determination. Don't wait for the weather to be perfect, because it never will be. Don't wait for the perfect autumn colour, because with one good gust of wind, it'll all be on the floor. Just get out there and shoot and make the best of the opportunities that come your way. And I'm sure you'll end up getting some amazing photos. So the rain is just coming, the light is fading, so I think that's the end of this week's video, guys. Please do consider hitting the thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Share it if you think others might like it too. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't done so already and would like to see future content. Anyway, guys, until next time, take care and I'll see you soon.